Hello once again, and we are here with another Beyond the Benches video as it is so close to football season, right Cameron?
Indeed it is. If both of our professional teams were not playing tonight, then we'd be repping the teams we're about to talk about.
Yeah, and we have some college. Of course, this is we're filming this Thursday night, getting ready for some final preseason week. But we are here to talk about some college football season 2017.
The real thing starts this weekend, baby.
Exactly. We had a few games last weekend, but we're starting to get to where now everybody.
This is where the real teams play. This is when SEC football starts, so the real teams play now.
And a big storyline for this year is, and they started this last year, but now they're continuing it, is really trying to get week one games that matter. A lot of times week one, we're used to kind of a big team versus a cupcake, but now we're getting some of these big teams, these top 25 teams going at each other. Do you like that more?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the first, in the state of Florida alone, besides South Florida, you look at the first few matchups as far as the main schools in Florida and Florida State, it couldn't get any better.
Exactly.
You got Florida versus Michigan, and you got Florida State versus Alabama. That's no cupcake. That's a heck of a football game we're going to get to watch.
Exactly, and those are games that obviously they don't matter as far as trying to win your conference or your division, but if you start thinking playoffs, I mean, those are big games.
If Florida State can knock off Alabama, not only do they have not only have they pretty much punched the ticket, because, I mean, you could beat Alabama and they could probably still go lose 11 games, but, I mean, it helps you punch your ticket into the play. It's that first nip of a ticket punched into the playoffs.
Well, yeah, because I think if you beat Alabama week one and then you win the ACC, I mean, you're in.
Yeah, you're in. Yeah,
so
definitely.
It's a situation where even if you lost another game, if you were 11-1 with both those,
say you won, say you were 11-1 and lost to
Clemson, beat Alabama, and win the ACC, you're in.
Yeah.
So it matters. Same thing with Florida. You know, Florida right now is a little bit struggling, which we'll get into some of the things, but hey, you beat Michigan, all of a sudden people stop caring about all that off the field.
If Florida goes. This game is in Gainesville, correct?
No, it is actually in Jerry World, Dallas, Texas.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
No, you're good.
So, those two teams play over there in Texas. If Florida, with all their suspensions they have, manages to beat a fully strength Michigan squad, you won't hear nothing from me. There's no, from a Georgia fan and Gator hater perspective, there's no way I could give you guys any crap.
All right, well, let's get into some of these with our first game. We have Stony Brook, the powerhouse itself, taking on University of South Florida, who is already 1-0 after an impressive 42-22 start. What do you think about USF this season? Because this game is pretty much should be an easy win.
USF's got no excuse this year. No excuse this year whatsoever to not make some noise and win their conference. Mm-hmm. They're going to win this game by 30 points.
Yeah, I mean, they have maybe the second best quarterback in their conference. They have a schedule outside of their conference, not really anybody as we're seeing here. They're playing mostly teams like this. I believe they play a Pac-12 team, but it's slipping my mind too. But the point is, yeah, they have a great opportunity coming off a 10-win season this year. You add the Texas coach Charlie Strong.
I really, really like him. I watched some of his things. He even was at Bucks camp a couple of times over the training camp time period. He's a really nice guy. He's really determined. He's determined to take South Florida somewhere, and that somewhere is up there.
All right, and now this game is pretty interesting. Not an actual connection for maybe us or some of the audience, but number 22 Western Virginia taking on number 21 Virginia Tech, an interstate battle with top 25 on the line. What do you think about these kind of games?
Oh, it's going to be a battle between the Virginias. I mean, you got Virginia Tech, who's coming off of a pretty disappointing year in my mind last year, and you got West Virginia, who's making progress and moving up. I really think if it comes down to this, I really like the quarterback play of Virginia Tech. If he did not turn the ball over so many times against Tennessee in the Battle of Bristol, believe me, Virginia Tech would have rode off last year with a victory against somebody in the SEC. So, I mean, but I do like the quarterback play of Virginia Tech.
He's got a great last name, by the way, too.
And I like most of the pieces that West Virginia has, but I think with the quarterback play and the offensive talent on the Virginia Tech side, if they don't turn the ball over so many times, I think it's going to be Virginia Tech this weekend.
Well, this is another game that kind of matters, because I would say Virginia Tech and Miami would probably be the best contenders to win that side of the ACC.
Yes.
And so, this is important.
Yes, it is important. A lot rides on it. Finally, college football is making it to where week one games matter. And this is a game on the books that matters, and I'm taking Virginia Tech.
All right, speaking of games that matter, the very first college football game we will see this week, number 8 Washington with Jake Browning, maybe one of the best quarterbacks in all of the land, heading to, impressive because we usually don't see top 10 teams go on the road week 1, heading to Rutgers. What do you think Jake Browning has to show here on a road game early?
He's got to show his composure. He's got to stay focused. He's got to stay relaxed. He cannot buckle underneath the pressure of a different crowd. He's got all the potential, all the pieces. He's got no excuses. You've got to put yourself in a different mindset. You got to stay focused, and you cannot buckle under the pressure of being on the road.
Yeah, he's got to show the Jets and the Browns why he should be their next quarterback bust. But now let's get into some other games that maybe we're a little more passionate about. And speaking of just a titan of a game, UGA taking on Appalachian State. Let's go.
I mean, it might just be with the way Appalachian State played some of the teams they played in the first week of the year. They took Tennessee to overtime last year, but other than that, they haven't really been impressive against teams in the SEC. The last time Georgia and Appalachian State played, Georgia beat them 45-19 or 45-9, one of the two. I know there's a 9 in that number, but it was back when Aaron Murray was in his clique, and Georgia had a dominant offense with Murray and Gurley and Mitchell and Conley and Lynch, and the dominant offensive line they had in it. Still had Keith Marshall. They had all the pieces, and they've got all the pieces this year. Georgia, you've got no excuse not to put a fight up for the East, and hell, not even put up a fight for the conference. You gotta win this game. You cannot let Appalachian State do what they did to Tennessee last year and completely it shocked their minds and took them to overtime. Okay, you gotta grab the bull by the horns and you gotta keep trucking. You gotta Jacob Eason, no mistakes, defense, no give ups. You gotta be able to stop them. You gotta be able to ground them. You gotta be able to win this game. I think Georgia can win this game by more than 20 points.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say Georgia by 14. I think Georgia gets off to a big lead, probably a 30-point lead early, and then it closes up a little bit just because I want to respect Appalachian State. They are a conference champion, but that's probably what I'm going to go with.
Gotcha.
Next, another team trying to win that SEC East. It is number 17 Florida. We got into this game a little earlier. They are playing Michigan, who they have not announced their starting quarterback, but the Gators have announced Felipe
excited about this one.
My man.
He's been excited. He's been wanting to see this guy play since he committed to Florida. So
2 years in the making, man. We're going to see you Saturday.
So let me tell you this. I think that Florida can win this game. Even with all the players they've had suspended, not too many of them have been starters. Granted, now as we get later into the week, they lost Jordan Scarlett earlier in the week. I've heard, I'm not exactly sure, they've lost pieces on their line. I could be wrong about that, but, I mean, Florida can still put up a fight because they got that defense. They got that defense. And see, all the pieces of Muschamp's defense may be going, but there's still some pieces left.
Right. And an interesting thing is, Michigan hasn't announced their quarterback for a reason. Neither one of these teams have, great quarterbacks just sitting there in the wings. So really it's going to come down to wide receivers, linebackers, these other kind of positions.
The little things on the football field are going to become the big things in this game.
Yeah, I think so. What's your prediction for it?
I'm going to take Florida by 6 points. I'm going to keep it in the SEC, and I'm going to keep it local. I'm going to keep Florida by 6 points.
Call it reverse psychology, but if we had a full team, I'd be a little more confident. I'm going to say Michigan by 2. Michigan squeaks it out. I think they're just a little more prepared, a little better right now.
I could see how you say that because they haven't had to pull players out this close to the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, I still think that just something tells me that it's going to be some sort of storyline that Florida's not going to just let suspensions happen and it's going to be the next man up. I just think it's going to be a close game, and I think Florida's going to come down with it.
All right, a very, very intriguing game. Alabama, the runner-up last year, losing in the national championship. They do not want to lose 2 in a row, and they are taking on them Florida State Seminoles.
Jimbo Fisher has been looking forward to this for the longest time. His chance to be the Saban descendant, and it's his chance to take on Nick Saban as himself alone. Do I think that Florida State has a damn good shot to win this game? Oh, yes, I do. I don't count Florida State out for a minute. They've had a strong defense. They got a strong offense.
Better quarterback.
But this is Alabama. It's Alabama. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Florida State has been preparing for this game since it was put on the schedule. Florida State by a touchdown.
Well, it's interesting because I think perhaps some of those SEC homers are going to be interested in this game because you just had Alabama lose to Clemson. If you have them lose to Florida State, ACC might start talking about who that best conference is.
And it's time. It's time for somebody to kick Alabama off the pedestal. Florida State.
Seminole fans, this is no hate. Don't get mad. Alabama by 17.
Ooh.
I think it's Alabama. And again, if they were playing Florida right now, I'd say Alabama by 27. It's not hate. It's Alabama.
I understand what you mean by that. I mean, I honestly just think because of how hyped up this game is and how prepared Florida State is, you don't hear Florida State talking every day in the media. You hear everybody talking about Alabama. Nobody's talking to Florida State. Nobody's talking about Florida State. I mean, yeah, they're talking about the game. They're talking about predictions and stuff. But everybody's riding Alabama for this game. Except the people in Tallahassee and in this state. Florida State's being undermined in this game, in my opinion. So, Florida State it is for me.
All right, well, let us know what you guys think of our predictions and rep your favorite college football team down below. Thanks for watching. Peace.